What's up, my friends? You should know who it is by now, and welcome back to another vlog. So guys, for today's video, I wanted to talk to you all about the dreaded gas chamber. That's right, guys, the gas chamber. You see these eyes? You see these crazy eyes right now? Yeah, it's getting serious up in here. But of course, many of you guys know that I was in the Navy for 4 years, and obviously I went through boot camp to be able to get through the fleet. And one of my many experiences in boot camp, I've talked a lot about my boot camp experiences. I believe I did one video on it. But you know, there's a lot of details, not just from boot camp, but also through, you know, my A school and through being in the fleet through all those 4 years. I have a lot of stories that I'm probably going to tell you guys, you know, over time, because I forget stuff from time to time, you know, I really do, you know, because I've got so much on my mind. But once in a while, I'll recall these tales or these stories, you know, from boot camp or from school or from somewhere that I want to share with you guys. And today's video is one of those circumstances, because when I was, you know, I was on YouTube, you know, making sure that I got my gas classification right. I was like, you know, I was thinking for a second. I was like, was that tear gas that we got in the gas chamber? And it was tear gas. And while I was on there, I actually found some videos. Some people actually took video of inside the gas chamber, their experiences with the gas chamber inside. And you know, when I was in the Navy and when I was going through boot camp in 2004, YouTube wasn't even a thing. It wasn't even around, so I don't even know if we were allowed to take cameras in there, but apparently you're allowed to take cameras in there now, which is really cool. So you guys can experience that for yourself if you want to go on YouTube and check out all of the gas chamber experience. But the best that I've got for you guys is my own personal experience with the gas chamber and basically everything that happened. And I'm trying to, like, you know, recall like the exact circumstance. I remember we were in this auditorium watching a video on, you know, like safety training. You have to watch a lot of safety training videos. And then they informed us that after the auditorium we were going to be going into the gas chamber. We had our gas masks with us. You're issued a gas mask when you go to boot camp, right? So we had the gas mask with us. And I remember being a little bit scared. You know, when I was 18, I was pretty fearless. I really was. I was really ready to try new things. So I don't think it was anxiety so much as it was excitement. You know, I was really, really excited to get in there and try this experience out. You know, what is it? You know, it's not mustard gas. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just tear gas. So I was like, okay, like, let me get in there and try this out. I want to see how it is. So they led us into this room, and it was really kind of scary, you know, to be honest with you guys, because, you know, like, you know, it's not an experience that normal humans go through on a daily basis. Like, you're being led through a room knowing that you're going to be gassed. Like, you know, it doesn't matter if it's tear gas, you know, you hear that word gas, and it recalls all of these horrible memories from, like, world wars of past. You know, it's like, oh my goodness, like, I'm going into a gas chamber. Like, they're about to gas me. You know, at first I was fearless, but then I was like, you know, as we're approaching the room, I'm like, oh, like, okay, like, I have to put my gas mask on now. They're about to drop this, you know, this gas tablet, because that's what it is if you guys don't know how they actually execute the entire ordeal, it's a little tablet. They have this little tablet and a hot plate, basically. And they take this tablet, it looks like, you know, like a vitamin or something like that, you know, just like a round, you know, orange vitamin. I think it was like orange or yellow or something like that. And then they take it and they drop it on a hot plate. And as soon as the tablet hits the hot plate, it starts to burn and the gas comes out. And the funny thing is that, you know, all the instructors in the room have their gas masks on, obviously, because they're the instructors, right? They're supervisors. They're supervising the situation. But the rest of us, we were all lined up in rows. I think there was like maybe like 7 or 8 of us across, probably 8 of us. Everything was even, obviously. So yeah, 7 or 8 of us, 8 of us in a line across, and about 4 lines deep, right? And I remember I was lucky enough actually to be in the front of the line. If you're in the front of the line, you're the first one to take your gas mask off, right? We do it by lines. The first row, the second row, the third row, then the fourth row last. So I was lucky enough to get in the front row. So the gas starts filling the room, right? They put the tablet down, the gas starts filling the room, and they tell the first row to take their gas mask off, which was me. And the thing is, you have to recite your full name and your social security number before you can exit the room, and you have to wait for everybody to get done, everybody in your row to get done. So they're like, all right, first row, take your gas masks off. So we took the gas masks off, and then the first guy goes, Jonathan, blah, 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 7198, and then the next guy, Stephen Ray Smith, 7198, and going through all their things, and I was near the last. So I got through my name, and then the guy beside me got through his name, and what I noticed, it was really strange because as people were saying their names down the line, I didn't notice anything, really, even when I took my gas mask off. And I wanted to make sure that I got a full experience from it. So I took a deep breath, I kept taking breaths in, I wasn't experiencing anything, which proved to be a mistake. Because the thing about tear gas is that you may not necessarily feel it entering right away, whether it's, excitement from excitement or adrenaline or whatever, but you may not feel it necessarily entering right away, but it's in there. And when it gets in there, it's in there. And by the time the last guy in the row was done, that's when the gas hit me. And to experience tear gas is, it's quite unpleasant. It really is. You see, tear gas is used in all kinds of riot control all around the world, and you don't really understand why until you experience what it's like. You say, oh, they're firing tear gas at people. What does it make you tear up? Well, no, it doesn't just make you tear up. What it does is it completely irritates your sinuses. Like, this gas gets in your sinuses and it just inflames your sinuses. So what happens is your nose pass, your nasal passages will get completely blocked up and inflamed, and mucus will start dripping. Like, I mean, you could hold a napkin to your nostril for 2 days and just be continuously blowing mucus out. Mucus will start running out. Saliva, you start spitting, you start drooling, your eyes uncontrollably tear up. And when I say uncontrollably, I mean uncontrollably. It's like you can't even blink because your eyes are so like solid and rigid from being, like puffed up and puffed out and tearing up and constantly expelling water. And your entire head basically swells up, and liquid and mucus starts pouring out of every orifice of your head imaginable for hours on end. And I just remember, experiencing that, and it was only just a few seconds before I rushed out. I can't imagine what the guys in the fourth row went through. They must have got it 10 times worse, but I experienced that. Right after, obviously on the way out of the building, we had to walk out of the room. We had to walk out of the room in a single file line, of course. We always had to keep order. So we're all walking out of the room in this single file line, and of course now the second row is going, they're taking their gas masks off, and they're saying their full name and their social security number, and we're walking out of the room like hunched over with mucus and, drool just pouring out of our mouths and crying, uncontrollably crying. And they made us go over to a sink and immediately wash our face. They would run cold water in the sink, and then we would just splash our face with cold water and try to rub all that crap out of our eyes and out of our nose the best we could, but it just didn't make a difference. I mean, seriously, for the rest of the day, we were just blowing our noses and washing our eyes and washing our face. And it is a very unpleasant experience. You can see, like I said, before, you can see why they use it in riot control, because it stops what you're doing. It literally, you can't function with it because your entire head swells up and you just start crying and mucus pouring out of everywhere. And it was such an unpleasant experience to be, leaning over that sink and just, basically puking mucus, into the sink and trying to wash your eyes out, but nothing works. It was one of the most unpleasant experiences of my life. But, I'm glad I went through it. If I hadn't gone to boot camp, in the military, gone through all that experience, I wouldn't have experienced that, and I wouldn't have these great stories to tell. So I love the fact that I went through it. I got through it without injury, without any severe problems, so it was just a fun experience, And like I said, you guys can look this up yourself. You can go on YouTube. They have videos now on YouTube of people going through the gas chamber, and it is an experience, man. I mean, it is an experience of a lifetime in so many ways. But yeah, guys, that's what I was thinking about today. I was just thinking about that specific story from boot camp, and I just wanted to share that with you real quick today. I'll have many more stories from throughout my Navy experience that I'll remember randomly come in and tell you guys. But the gas chamber is definitely something that I wanted to regale you guys with because it's a great story. It's a great little story from my life, and something that you know, I might even do it again someday. You know, just to like re-experience it, just to put myself back in those shoes. Don't quote me on that, please. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today's vlog. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day wherever you are. And now it's time for me to start mine, of course, as always. So until next we meet, take care, guys, and I'll see you later.